Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to play some games with Excadrill. This is my very favourite deck around at the moment. People keep asking me about my favourite deck. People keep asking me for more PTCGO on this channel, so I thought, right, let's do a little bit of a test, shall we? Here's my test. Now, it is a very straightforward Excadrill line. It is based heavily on the lists that have been doing well in the Limitless TCG online tournaments lately. I made a couple differences here and there, but I might have then ended up reversing them. One of the biggest changes between mine and the regular list is it only plays one Dedenne. I really don't want that on the field if I can at all help it. Crushing Hammer will give us a chance against some decks we may otherwise struggle against, and with 4 Ordinary Rod, 3 Pal Pad, and a Brock's Grit, the theory here is that we can always have an answer if we do end up discarding stuff with Excadrill. And Excadrill's our only real attacker here. We do have Tapu Fini if we end up against Blacephalon. That's nice. But Fiona is there to make your opponent switch and stop us decking out. Diancie is there for extra damage. Ditto is there purely to evolve. Dedenne's to draw cards. Zev Striker is there to draw cards. Love that card. It is a flat-out, unashamed, unabashed Excadrill deck. And it's a deck I love and a list I like. So let's play some games. And we're going to start off with a game I played a few days ago against a Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, of course, the entire point of this deck of Excadrill is we're supposed to be able to beat Pikachu and Zekrom. It is the best deck around at the moment. If we can't win this, we might as well not play Excadrill. This should be our money matchup. It is a big part of the metagame right now, and we're expecting to smash it. Now, to be fair, I have drawn an excellent opening hand. Oh, and my opponent's mulliganed as well. I've got a Quick Ball there, I've got a Great Ball, I've got an Energy here. My only real concern is what happens. And there's a Drillbur, we're sorted. Because now I bench the Drillbur, I attach a Fighting Energy, I can use my Quick Ball to go and grab myself a Blitzel. I am going to have to drop the Crushing Hammer probably, which sucks, but hey-ho, it's not the end of the world. This is not a matchup where Crushing Hammer's really going to come in that handy anyway, so we really shouldn't worry too much about it. I've got my Ditto down. Could have gone Blitzel, went for Ditto. It's the same deal. And essentially here, if my opponent gets a KO on the active, I've got an Excadrill ready to go. Otherwise, I just need a Fighting Energy to get a KO next turn. I've got Professor's Research in hand. I've got a Ditto and a Zev Striker in hand ready to evolve. This is about as good a start as you can hope for. Like, in a matchup like this, the ideal start is probably 3 Drillbur, 2 Blitzel. You always want to keep a bench space for something like Dedenne or Fiona or Diancie Prism Star in a pinch. Even Diancie, we shouldn't need too much here. The only time it's really needed early game is if my opponent whacks a big charm on their Pikachu and Zekrom. And they've got because then the extra 10 with Martial Arts Dojo won't be enough. It will for Raichu and Alolan Raichu. So my opponent's got a good start. They've got a Pikachu and Zekrom down. They've got a Tapu Koko Prism Star. They've dropped a Dedenne to draw a bunch of extra cards. But it doesn't really matter. A matchup like this, and like I say, this isn't me trying to be flippant or big-headed or anything silly like that. This is me telling you that the number one reason right now why Excadrill is seeing traction as a deck is because it should smash Pikachu and Zekrom. We're not looking for a 60-40 matchup here. We are looking 80-20. We are looking for, if we set up, we cannot lose. And incidentally, that is essentially how it goes. You lose this if you don't set up, or, I mean, essentially that's it. If you set up, you should win. You should be KOing everything they've got for a single energy on a stage 1 Pokemon. There are those games where they use things like Big Charm. Oh, that Marnie sucks. We had everything. Everything. Oh. Okay, so what we really need here is we need to hit a Zev Striker off that Great Ball. If we hit Zev Striker off that Great Ball, we're fine. And you see my opponent there getting a bit of energy out, and he does now have everything he needs. He's got the energy with an energy switch onto Zero Aura to give free retreat using the ability. He's got the Thunder Mountain. He's got the other 2 energy. So my opponent, this is a phenomenal start for my opponent. They could not ask for much more. They've got the turn 1 full blitz, and now they're going to accelerate energy. They won't put it all onto Pikarom. That would be extremely silly, but presumably they'll put it onto Raichu and Alolan Raichu here. Putting all their energy on a Pokemon that I can KO if I have an Excadrill is arguably not great. And that's the thing, right? Let's say I don't hit a Zebstrika off that Great Ball. Even if I hit an Excadrill, I can still get the KO and take 3 prizes, which means I'm basically drawing 5 cards over this and the next turn. That's still not bad. What do we get? Okay, not it yet. So we'll drop the Drillbur, we'll attach the energy, that's fine. We need Zebstrika or Excadrill off of this. We can have either. Excadrill is the right play here. Oh, yeah, it is. You guarantee the KO. I know I haven't used a supporter this turn, and there is a strong argument. Yeah, usually ordinary rod before I do this. There is an argument here to get the Zebstrika, but if I don't hit the Excadrill or the supporter, then I whiff the KO. And remember, that's how we lose to Pikachu and Zekrom. We lose by having a bad start. No, we don't have a Zebstrika down right now, but we draw 3 cards here, plus the one for the beginning of our next turn, and we just need a supporter or a Zebstrika. You'll notice we did hit the Marnie and the Excadrill, so my opponent can they? If they play enough Tag Switch and Energy Switch, they could probably do Tag Bolt this turn, but it would be an extremely difficult thing to pull off, especially with Tapu Koko having already been used. So they can get a KO easy enough, but that doesn't really help them. I mean, really, what we need here is a Boss's Orders, and that's the game. Boss's Orders wins us the game. Now, there's Quick Ball. I'd like to think this is the kind of moment I'd go for a Dedenne, but you don't need to. There's no reason to go for a Dedenne. We don't need Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders is what you do if you desperately need to win this turn. We don't. We are going to KO the Zero Aura in the active. And then we've got a Drillbur ready to evolve, and we've got a Ditto ready to evolve. We do want a Zebstrika here. There we go. Because we are worried about a reset stamp. But there's another Drillbur. There is a Zebstrika. Would love to use that Quick Ball, but what do you get rid of? You don't. We need the Excadrill, and we need Professor's Research, because unless we end up getting reset stamps, that is way better. So now we got 1 prize remaining. We got an Excadrill in the active, and we got a Drillbur ready to evolve with an Excadrill in hand, and another Drillbur, and we've got a Zebstrika to protect us against reset stamp. At this stage of the game, it's hard to see how we lose. And this should be how it works, incidentally, right? This should be the point. So we do see a Tag Switch there, getting an energy on Dedenne just so they can get it out the active. They're going to use Electromagnetic Radar. There's a couple of Dedenne. But there's a strong question here of what do they do. So there is a reset stamp. Really good job we got the Zebstrika down there. Because without a Zebstrika, this would be genuinely terrifying. Again, you can lose to Pikachu and Zekrom with Excadrill, but you lose by whiffing attacks. You lose because you spend too many turns not attacking. So your goal should be, and this is the bare minimum we should expect from any deck, right? You lose by not having your Zebstrika and Excadrill out. It's why we didn't Boss's Orders, why we didn't dig for it a couple of turns ago. Because we just want to get rolling. As we look, we've only used 1 Marnie. That's the only support we've actually played so far. That's the thing, we haven't even drawn that well this game. We had a phenomenal start, but then my opponent Marnied me, and we haven't drawn great since then. And none of that really matters, because we've been able to get our Pokemon out. And that's one of the things about Excadrill, right? We are rocking Stage 1 Pokemon single energy, so it's really, really hard to continually not be able to get that rolling. So all we really do here is, now we do need to do the extra 10 damage. We don't have the KO yet. We either need to get down to 3 cards left in our deck. Remember, we've lost Diancie Prism Star. Or we need to get a Martial Arts Dojo. Now, we're going to use this. What we really want is just Excadrill. We need an Excadrill, so we get 2 of them back. We don't need energy, so we don't get energy back. We now just Professor... Again, we play 4 of those. This isn't some kind of weird and crazy thing. We play 4 Ordinary Rod for that exact reason. So now we go for our Dedenne. And this is the Dedenne turn, right? We need an Excadrill. And there's a Crushing Hammer. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. And we need a Martial Arts Dojo. Those 2 cards will win us the game right here, right now. There is Excadrill. We still don't have Martial Arts Dojo, but we can get a... Okay. I believe that was a slight mistake. I should have kept digging them. I think I forgot that there was the extra 20 HP on Raichu and Alolan Raichu. I'm still not even remotely upset, by the way. Wait, had I already... No. So I should have dug for... I don't think I'd used my Zebstrika. So I could have dug for Martial Arts Dojo to win the game there and then. I certainly should have evolved that Bench Drillbur up to an Excadrill, just in case my opponent drops another reset stamp. I'm still not... But that's the thing. I'm still not worried. I'm still not worried. So my opponent goes and gets a KO here, but I just Excadrill, Fighting Energy. Oh, okay, now this was a pretty good call. Problem is, I've only got 11 cards left in my deck. Now my opponent can actually win next turn by taking out the Dedenne, but all I'm going to do here is just aggressively go through my deck, discarding as many cards as I possibly can, and then I can use 11th Hour Tackle to do 180 damage and get the KO. And my opponent has, and it's guaranteed, by the way, Professor's Research will put me down to 6 cards in hand. I will then in deck. Zebstrika will then put me down to 2 cards in deck. There's that thing I should... And again, I wouldn't have won last turn, incidentally. You can see, had I used Zebstrika, I wouldn't have won last turn. So it ended up not being a misplay. It wouldn't have made a difference. But it's still one of those that I was silly. I should have done it. So now we Zebstrika. Now what we can do here is actually drag Pokemon out of our deck. So we can do that. The other Ultra Ball is guaranteed to get the other Blitzle. And then we can actually go down to a 0-card deck here. Unfortunately, couldn't go down without using Zebstrika, but that's fine. We've now got 0 cards in our deck. We hit 180. And this was a game where I didn't set up brilliantly in terms of supporters. I had some basics, which was nice. And there's a little bit of a misplay, and I still ended up winning the game fairly comfortably. Excadrill beats Pikachu and Zekrom. It is a phenomenal matchup. You can lose if you don't draw, but outside of that, it just beats it. Now what we're going to see is just a series of 3 games that I played after the fact. So what we've got here is that first one was recorded a couple days before. We've now just got a run of 3 games we're going to play consecutively. None of them are Pikachu and Zekrom. I don't need to show you that matchup again. And it's just going to be seeing how good Excadrill really can be. Because my thought on the deck is it's got some phenomenal matchups and some bad. Now, we do see Corporaja V Max coming in here, but I believe I also saw a Water Energy. So it looks like we're talking about Zacian ADP, but with a Corporaja V Max for Ultimate Bulk. Now, this is not a great start. But here's the thing. I know my opponent's not getting a turn 1 KO. I know they're not doing it. It's just not happening. So I whack an energy on Drillbur. I know they are not... Zacian ADP, they could maybe get free energy on a bent Zacian using Metal Saucer and then come and KO my Blitzle. It's so unlikely they pull that off. And it's so unlikely they go for it because their route to winning here is Arceus and Alga and Palkia. They win. There we go. Told you. They win by using a GX attack that lets them take an extra prize every time they take a KO, because that's basically the weakness of my deck here. I am playing a single prize deck that's not that powerful, but only give up 1 prize. If my opponent starts taking 2 prizes for every attack, and I'm really struggling to KO a Zacian here, I can do it, but I have to be behind on prizes and using the second attack and have a martial arts dojo out. It's not an easy thing to do. I can one-hit KO that Dedenne, mind you. Okay, so Marnie, and that was a phenomenal hand, incidentally. That was all I needed was an energy. It's not a great hand. Now, if those two Great Balls find me a Zeb Striker and an Excadrill, I'm fine. But I'm much... And this happened in the last game. Marnie is coming out and making things extremely difficult for me, and it's kind of upsetting. I kind of want it to stop happening. Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Oh, come on. Give me an Excadrill from the other Ultra Ball. Great Ball. That would be sweet. And then we're basically rolling here. Yeah, I've not played many games on this particular computer. I generally play on my laptop or iPad. Okay. I'm cool with this. We got everything we need. Now. Oh, Crushing Hammer would be huge. Come on. Yes! Okay! So we're not even going to use Zeb Striker now. Because what we really want to do is... Yeah, it doesn't matter which one we get. We need to get the other one using Quick Ball. What we need to do here is not Zeb Striker so that we can Crushing Hammer next turn, assuming they attach an energy. So this is absolutely beautiful. This is wonderful. I love this. Again, we don't want to use Zeb Striker because we want to keep that Crushing Hammer for next turn. And this is basically our chance, right? We have got the first hit in. So that means potentially we 2-hit KO a Zacian, we get to 1-hit KO their Dedenne, and we potentially get to maybe get a 1-hit KO if we go behind on prizes at one point. And maybe that's a route to victory. We need to stave off their GX attack here. It needs to be that they never get that ADP GX attack. If they do, we're done. Well, if they do it early enough. Oh, so there's Metal Saucer. Do they have Energy Switch Water Energy? No, they just have Switch. Okay. So Eldegoss comes down, grabs a Marnie, presumably, and that wouldn't be too bad. Like, I like having the Crushing Hammer in hand, but it's not as bad as a... Oh, wow. So now I've still got the Crushing Hammer. I don't have Boss's Orders anymore, but... Marnie becomes a lot less scary when you've got Zeb Striker out. In terms of aggressive, I will get going cards, there's not really anything better than Zeb Striker. And certainly if I can draw another Zeb Striker, I'm not worrying about drawing cards this game. Now, doing enough damage to get a KO on my opponent's Pokemon, I very much am worrying about that. Okay, this is good. I need Boss's Orders, though. I had Boss's Orders before. But I am liking that. I never get this kind of luck. This is wonderful. Oh, I love this. I know that the one with no energy on isn't necessarily a threat, but it's 2 prizes. I need prizes in this matchup. That's the key. So, yes, I know he's going to come and get a KO with that Zacian next turn, but what I'm really doing here is I'm just finding my easiest route to 6 prizes. Because you'll notice he's now put that Eldegoss down. Eldegoss is just Boss's Orders when I've got 3 cards or fewer left in deck. And that can be difficult, even with all the power pad. It can be difficult to manipulate that. But if I can get down to 3 cards in deck and one of them's a Boss's Orders, I'm just ignoring all of his other Pokemon now. I'm going after the Zacian in the active. I'm going to try and get that Dedenne, and I'm going to try and get through my deck as fast as I can, take out that benched Eldegoss, and that's my route to victory here. And now time is starting to run out for my opponent, because they still need a turn to use their GX attack. And once they've used their GX attack, they then need 3 turns to take KOs, taking 2 prizes per turn. And it looks like they're not going. Now, the Metal Goggles on the Zacian is annoying. It's going to make it... But then again, I'm probably not getting a 1-hit KO. I'm 2 prizes up. Remember, my route to a 1-hit KO is behind on prizes, 3 cards left in my deck, Martial Arts Dojo. That's just not... Oh, there's a Boss's Orders. It's just not likely. So really, what I need to do in this game is just ignore Zacian and try and take out his bench Pokemon, or just 2-hit KO. I am winning the prize race at this stage. Now, I do need more Drillbur, and I do need an Excadrill. and that's slightly upsetting. I need to make sure I've actually got attackers, because that can hurt you here. Now, annoyingly, I didn't hit any kind of Drillbur or Excadrill, so we've got 2 Zebstrika on the field, so we can, and this is what I love about Zebstrika, we can literally afford to be discarding our hand and drawing 4 cards, even getting rid of 2 good supporters, so we can use Boss's Orders, because we're fine here. Now, we do need a Drillbur. Oh, do I do it? I do it. Because you can always get rid of that you can always get rid of the Fione, right? So here, I mean, you do want to save a bench space sometimes, but if I can get multiple Excadrill and Zebstrika out, that's how I win. Now, we get rid of the Crushing Hammer. Essentially, the game has gotten to the point where I just don't need Crushing Hammer anymore. I'm not going to stop him attacking with that Zacian, and honestly, I'm not really in much of a mood to try and slow it down. Slowing it down doesn't really interest me. Now, I should have attached that fighting energy if I hadn't already. Maybe I'd already attached. But now the goal is really simple. It is just try and make sure I've got Boss's Orders. Oh, and just run through my deck. Remember, I can Boss's Orders and then keep running through my deck. But I can Boss's Orders as long as I then get down to 3 cards in hand, or 3 cards in deck. I can grab the Boss's Orders along the way. I can grab the Excadrill along the way. I don't think this is a phenomenal matchup for Excadrill. It's actually one of the matchups I am most concerned about. I don't like playing against ADP. Because let's say I go second. They go first, attach an energy, my turn. If I don't hit a Crushing Hammer, sometimes even if I do, I've had 1 turn, I haven't been able to evolve, there is no good attack that Excadrill has going second, and then they use a GX attack, and they basically win from there. I don't like this matchup. But if I can 2-hit KO 1 Pokemon, and they put 2 double prize Pokemon on the bench so that I can Boss's Orders them, and they never get the GX attack off, that's how we win. That is literally how we end up winning the game. So we're only going to get Pokemon here. All we really want is Excadrill. So we grab Excadrill. We've got 12 cards left in deck. We can discard and draw 12 cards with Excadrill. There is an Excadrill and a Boss's Orders in my deck. So I'm guaranteed to win here. Guaranteed. If I use all 3 of those Zebstrikas, I will draw all 12 cards remaining in my deck. One of them is a Boss's Orders. I use it to grab Eldegoss into the active. One of them is an Excadrill. I use it to evolve. I then do 180 damage, and I get the win. Now, I don't know if I'd done the math so perfectly playing through it the first time. I don't need to do anything else. This win is guaranteed at this stage. I will win this game. So there is the Boss's Orders. Bring up the Eldegoss. I suppose I can misclick, but I'm kind of hoping I don't misclick. And there is the Excadrill, at which point, for the second game in a row, I have an empty deck, and I use 11th Hour Tackle to get the KO and the win. I still don't think Zacian ADP is a phenomenal matchup. Excadrill wins because of consistency. It can 2-hit KO pretty much anything, except a few VMAXs. And you're more consistent than your opponent a lot of the time. And as long as you can just set up your Pokemon, use Boss's Orders nicely, and especially those Crushing Hammers, you can win. But make no mistake about it, that was me winning a bad matchup, that was not me winning a good matchup. So I suppose it's time to go on and have a look at a couple of other games now, shall we? Weirdly winning the coin flip and flipping well on hammers, and you saw I had a couple of really clutch draws. This is not what I'm used to playing the Pokemon trading card game. I'll be honest with you here. Turns out my winning percentage goes up when I draw well. Who could have possibly predicted it, ladies and gentlemen? Who could have possibly predicted it? Now, it's not quite as good yet here. The start, I mean. I've got my Drillbur in the active, and that's quite nice. I do have a Pokemon Communication, and a Diancie I can happily get rid of. I've got a Great Ball and a second Excadrill. Now, I'm assuming this is Mewtwo and Mew. Oh, but I do hit Blitzel off the Great Ball, so it's not the end of the world. I mean, essentially what I do here is I just keep my Pokemon Communication, and even though I don't have a supporter card right now, it's not the end of the world. I am lamenting Jirachi's HP, mind you, because with Diancie Prism Star and a Martial Arts Dojo, I can do 150 with Excadrill at this point in the game, and I need to do 160. Not the end of the world, and honestly, right, Mewtwo and Mew going second, they can, and there goes my Martial Arts Dojo. They can get a turn 1 KO, but I'm not worried about it like I am decks like Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, we did see a Marnie come down, but they've Marnied me into a significantly better hand. I've got a Crushing Hammer, I've got a Drillbur, I've got a Professor's Research. So I feel pretty good about this. What I would quite like at this stage is a Fione. If I can't one-hit KO the Jirachi, I want to try working on two-hit KOing the Mewtwo and Mew. Oh, we hit heads on the hammer. That's good. So we need to drop the Drillbur here, just really start getting rolling. There is a slight question as to whether I really want to, but no, we do. My bench space is getting low, but we can handle it. Okay, so now we get the Zeb Striker, and we haven't actually hit an Excadrill yet, but we don't need to have. We can grab Fione, mind you, or we can go for a Ditto. They would both be pretty good options at this stage. Ditto to help me evolve, Fione to basically force a Mewtwo into the active, or a Mewtwo and Mew. Diancie doesn't really help me at this stage of the game, not unless I can also get a Fione, because Mewtwo and Mew has 150 HP, so if I'm going to two-hit KO it, one of those hits really does have to be with a Diancie Prism Star. Blitzel, excellent choice, love Blitzel. Again, my deck loses when I don't set up, so being able to consistently get multiple Zeb Striker, that's how I win. That's my route to victory. Again, I'm playing free Power Pad, so I do not care about binning supporters off early. There's the Excadrill I needed, and I've even got the Quick Ball, so I can go for Fione here. And I think that's probably going to end up being the play. The fun thing is, even though I've got no supporter, I've got an Excadrill, I've got a Zeb Striker on the field, and a Blitzel ready to evolve. I just don't care. I don't really need supporters at this stage of the game. Now, the upsetting thing here is I am really struggling to two-hit KO. Oh, and I've hit my Diancie. That is an argument, incidentally. With Excadrill, there is a strong argument for benching Diancie sooner rather than later, so that doesn't happen. It gets discarded. Oh, no! That Mewtwo and Mew now has 140 HP remaining. Which means with a Diancie, I get a one-hit KO. For free prize. Oh, not a one-hit KO, but I've already hit him once. But I get a KO for free prizes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think this game is massively in hand. But with my opponent having played a Chaos Vortex to shut me out of Martial Arts Dojo, and me getting rid of Diancie. But then again, the thing is, here's what would have happened. Let's say I get the Diancie out last turn. It would have been instead of the Blitzel. But if I put Diancie down, my opponent bosses orders a Diancie, and I can't get it in out the active unless I draw. Well, I don't think I'm even playing Air Balloon. Oh, he scooped. Now, he did play the ADP variant, but essentially he just looked at it and went, you know what, my opponent's got too good a setup. That's what Excadrill does. It scares people. Again, Mewtwo ADP. To be fair, Mewtwo and Mew is a pretty good matchup. ADP does change things around, but I like playing Mewtwo and Mew. You two-hit KO for free prizes, while they one-hit KO for one. That's pretty good to me. Now, I did see my opponent do a little kind of face there. I'm assuming that means I kind of recognize my handle, which is kind of cool. Oh, I like this start. We've got a Drillbur in the active. We got a Blitzel to go on the bench. We got Martial Arts Dojo, Crushing Hammer. Oh, he's playing Speed Zacian. Okay. And we've got a supporter ready to go. I would like an extra card. Oh, it's even an energy. I love this start. Here's the problem. Excadrill just does not have a plan for going second. I'm probably going to end up using Rototiller. The good news is I've got a Crushing Hammer, so I can Crushing Hammer, try and get rid of an energy, and then put it back in my deck to reuse it later. It is nice being able to reuse Crushing Hammer, but make no mistake about it, Drillbur is a deck... Well, Excadrill. See, it's awkward, right? Because on the one hand, going first all the time will lead to you having games where you pass with a 70 HP Pokemon and your opponent donks you. But then on the other hand, you've got no turn 2 option. Also, my opponent, he's not allowed to use a supporter. That's a pretty good start. No, he doesn't hit any energy off Intrepid Sword to accelerate more, so we got a bit of time here. We hit Tails on the Crushing Hammer, but that's coming back. So there goes an energy. Might as well play the Martial Arts Dojo. We'll use a Quick Ball here to go and get ourselves a second Drillbur. That should have been a Ditto. Ditto would have been a way better option there. You know, keep your options open. And then we see a second Blitzel. Then we play... Oh, we get another Drillbur, sorry. We're ready to evolve into an Excadrill. And what we're doing here... Remember, I'm expecting to lose that Excadrill. So that Drillbur. So, yes, I've got 2 free Drillbur down, but I'm really thinking about it as more like 2. But then again, I've got an Excadrill and an Energy and a Marnie in hand ready to go. So I feel good that I'm going to be able to do some stuff next turn. I do feel like I'm going to be able to do all right with this kind of stuff. I feel like this is going to work. So, my opponent's going to do his thing. And with multiple Jirachi, these turns can take a while. So there goes Scoop Up Net to pick up Jirachi. So he's used 1 Jirachi. Here comes Jirachi number 2. And all my opponent needs is an Energy and a Metal Saucer to actually be attacking this turn. So I am expecting my opponent to get the attack off. I'm expecting them to be able to attack. I'm expecting my Drillbur to go down. And I don't really mind that. Like, I'd rather they didn't, but it's kind of something I'm expecting. Morile comes down. Now, that's got the ability that lets him look at my hand and bench any of my Pokemon he finds. Sorry, there are no basic Pokemon in my hand. And honestly, the only thing he could get that would hurt me in this matchup would be Tapu Fini if I'd started with it. Okay, so he's got an Oranguru, getting himself an extra card he didn't have before. Then Marnie comes down. I liked my hand. Yeah. Marnie is hurting. And don't get me wrong, right? I'm having luck on flips, and I'm having luck on... going first and all of that. I am not having luck on Marnie. Okay, we can live with that. So, there goes the Excadrill. And then we've got an Energy to attach to a Drillbur. Might as well go ahead and play the Crushing Hammer, because why not? We hit a heads. That's quite nice. Play the Great Ball. Oh, we hit a Zebstrika. So we don't have a supporter, but we do have 2 Zebstrika. Could Boss's Orders be in play here? Not yet. Okay. So we might as well recover some supporters for the fun of it. And then we sprint for a second time with Zebstrika. And there's Boss's Orders. So now what we can do is just, you know, well, like I say, we can get a one-hit KO, but we're not behind on prizes, and we have way more than 3 cards in our deck. So what we do is we use Drill Bazooka. And we work on a 2-hit KO. And now I basically said to my opponent, look, I am going to KO that Zacian the next time I attack it. You need to put 2 energy on to attack, and it's going to go down if you do. So by playing the Crushing Hammer and then hitting it, I'm kind of saying to my opponent, if you want to get a KO, you have got to invest more resources into this Pokemon that will go down. You'll take 1 prize, I'll take 2. That's why that Boss's Orders was huge. Okay, now does he have the other half of the Custom Catcher? So there's a Scoop Up Net on Jirachi, and then another one going active. Now we see a quick ball. Oh, it's Jirachi Prism Star. Oh, so now he's going to be getting himself a Detective Pikachu, Mr. Mime. There we go. So now what he does, he uses Oranguru to swap the top card of his deck with a card in his hand, which we know is Jirachi. He then uses Mr. Mime to swap the top card of his deck with a face-down prize card, but we know that it's Jirachi Prism Star. He's got the Metal Sorcerer, he's got the energy, so now he has got the KO, but he is going to draw as his prize Jirachi Prism Star. He's going to bench it, and he's going to get an extra prize. Here's the thing. He's going to go up to 2. He's going to take 2 prizes, then I'm going to take 2. He's got that Jirachi trick, but only once more. Now, in order to reuse it, he needs to scoop up net both the Jirachi to get it into his hand so he can put it on top of his deck, and the Mr. Mime to put it back into his prizes. He needs 2 scoop up net. He's already played 2 scoop up net. So he can do it once more, but he's getting a maximum 2 extra prizes from Jirachi, and I have had a good start and I'm ahead in the prize race. Excadrill against this type of Zacian deck is far, far better. Instead of your opponent taking an extra prize every time they attack, they can do it a maximum 3 times. Realistically, it's likely to be twice. And they often end up having to bench other Pokemon to get it working. There is an argument to try and boss his orders and KO the Jirachi. I don't really want to do that. I want to take out 2 prize Pokemon. That's really my goal here. Now we're going Fiona. Okay, let's go Fiona. We don't need Fiona, but it's always nice to have for the future. And I am 2 prizes down, but 11th Tower Tackle is going to fix it right away. If anyone's wondering why we didn't Ordinary Rod before, when you play an Excadrill, and we've lost Anti-Prism Star again, incidentally, 2nd game in a row, one of the things I would always recommend with Excadrill, try and wait to use the Ordinary Rod if you can, because otherwise there are just going to be those games where you Ordinary Rod back the Pokemon you want, attack with Excadrill, and then just discard it again. It's better to use it kind of as late as possible, just in case. Now, yeah, I would want it to boss his ores, but I don't think I had access to it. Never mind. So here comes out another Zacian here, and I'm just saying to my opponent, look, go for the energy. This is the other thing about these speed Zacian lists. They can only play 4 Metal Saucer. So it's difficult for them at this stage. Okay, so it looks like he's got the combo off again here. There we go. So we've got double scoop up net. So now he is going to put Jirachi down as an extra prize. But it means he's got to essentially take 4 KOs. And I need to probably take 3. I'm still feeling alright about this. The thing is, if my opponent gets rolling here, we're asking a lot of them. I mean, really, for them to get this turn, they needed double scoop up net and double Metal Saucer. Having already used 2 scoop up net and 1 Metal Saucer. It's possible, but you've got to be asking for some good draws for that to happen. And here we see my opponent just puts a Zacian in the active and uses Intrepid Sword. So here, I mean, this is a good position for me. Honestly here, there is a strong argument to just play the Crushing Hammer and hit the Zacian. Because if I was behind on prizes, this would be the kind of turn to try and really make sure, and we hit heads on the Crushing Hammer again, yay! But this would be the turn to really go for it. Now I am going boss's orders here. Remember, I am playing free Pal Pad, so I can be a little bit more flippant here when it comes to using boss's orders in this deck than I would be in some other decks, because I've got the luxury. I am going to be able to recover it over and over again. The other part of the thought process here is that for my opponent to attack with Zacian, they have got to attach and play a Metal Saucer. Thing is, they can't play a Metal Saucer onto that Zacian unless that Zacian's on the bench. So I have made it very difficult for my opponent here. They need to get to the bench, attach an energy, Metal Saucer, get back to the active, and even if they do, I'm still in a great position to win. Here's why. They hit me, but they basically have to use a Zacian I can KO. I then KO the Zacian, and they will have taken 2 prizes because of Jirachi. They're down to 2 prizes. There's the switch. I'm down to 2 prizes. But they cannot take any extra prizes because the Jirachi combo, they've run out of scoop up net. I'm not going to bench the Dene because, give me some credit. And they've got 170 HP Morile on the bench, which means we're back to the whole 3 cards left in our deck, draw a boss's orders, win the game. I'm cool with that. I'm completely okay with that. Now, they are attaching to Morile here, so what they're going to do, they're going to look for that last Metal Saucer and actually try and attack with Morile. Now, Morile will get the KO, but at that point, I just need to get down to 3 cards left in my deck. I will get the KO, and then I do need to really cross my fingers I don't run out of boss's orders. Again, it can be, and he's going to get my Zeb Striker. But then again, I've got a Ditto I can evolve into one, so I'm not that worried. One of the issues... wait, does he not have an attack? Because I don't need any more energy for my attackers. All of those all the moles on my bench, they've all got energy on already. So I can use my energy to retreat a Zeb Striker, no problem. This is another argument. Oh, okay, he doesn't have it. Another argument against using the Anti-Prism Star unless you're desperate. And here we go. My opponent is too reliant on using Metal Saucer. Because I got rid of one nice and early, by one I mean a Zacian, I am just rolling here. This is pretty much the turn where I win. Because now I can get 2 boss's orders back into my deck. The reason I do it then is because I'm going to sprint. And what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to get as low in my deck as possible. Now we stop. That is a good position. What I'm basically doing here, I am drawing boss's orders before I randomly discard with Excadrill. The terror is, now I'm at a power pad, the terror is that oh, come on. That wasn't smart, was he? Not sure I love that play. Oh, yes, I do, because I'm using 11th hour tackle. There we go. Again, I know for a fact there is a boss's orders left in my deck. So that Zeb Striker did discard a boss's orders, but the thing I missed watching it back now, I discarded a boss's orders, but I guaranteed that I was down to 3 cards left in my deck with a boss's orders still in my deck. I can't lose. As long as I've got an energy. If there is an energy card left in my deck, I cannot lose. He can't stall me, because all of my Excadrill have energy. Everything else is a 1-cost retreat. I've got boss's orders, and there we go. And because of the Excadrill on the bench, I can get down to 3 cards left in my deck. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 3 wins on the trot. Let's be clear. Still not thinking that this is necessarily perfect by any stretch, but I do adore this deck. It's got phenomenal matchups against any of the lightning stuff. It's really good against Blacephalon, especially with the 1 Tapu Fini and the 4 Ordinary Rod, plus Brock's Grit, plus 3 Pal Pad. You can use that Tapu Fini many, many times in one game, and Excadrill's 1-hit KOing as well. And it's all for one. You should run them out of resources. It really is a really good matchup. And there's a lot of others that are pretty good. No, you don't have much switching. Yes, it's terrible against Dragapult. And there's matchups like ADP which are bad. But if you can hit a couple of crushing hammers and take advantage of your speed and consistency like we've seen in this video, and you would have noticed at one point it said I had a win streak of 3. The latter 3 games were literally just a series of 3 games that I played just to see what would happen. I love Excadrill. I don't think it's perfect. I do think it has some bad matchups. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this seems really, really good. I am loving it. So, that's Excadrill, that's me playing Excadrill. I'd like to know what you think about Excadrill, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.